Welcome to a new Daily Top Askreddit video. Today's topic.
Trump said today, "I have the right to do anything I want to do. I'm the President of the United States. People from the US, what are your thoughts on this?" Sounds like dictator talk. We have an amendment for that. Removed. 25th Amendment this. What I really want to know is where are all the anti-dictator MAGAs right now? They were all screaming how Obama was a dictator and Biden was a dictator, but now that we actually have a dictator, they're quiet as church mice. Edit. I did not expect this to get quite the reaction it has garnered, but it's nice to know that people feel the same as I do. I was just trying to use sarcasm to get people to realize WTF is happening in our country. I'll be ready when we've had enough. I'm still waiting on the Second Amendment guys to do a resist tyranny. The thing to understand about Trump is that he's basically a 6-year-old we made president. He wants to sit in the big boy chair and have people call him the president. Everyone, his advisors, world leaders, business execs, spend every meeting blowing smoke up his ass and telling him how great he is at everything. He doesn't know a thing about the Constitution or how our government works, and he doesn't care. Don't forget the journalists who blatantly ignore obvious questions in favor of lobbing new softball questions in a whole other direction at the slightest suggestion. I guess they don't want to end up on the outside like the AP or piss off the corporate owners. They are literally not allowed to follow any line of questioning that might displease der Führer. God is dead. One of the most depressing aspects of this whole regime has been how quick people in power have been to bend the knee to Trump. I never expected elected officials or people in power to have integrity, but where is the goddamn dignity? I'm currently living in Texas and saw an older gentleman wearing a shirt today that said, "Make lying wrong again." I almost hugged him. A bit of faith in humanity restored. I saw an older guy with a Vietnam vet plate on his Tesla in the grocery parking lot. Bumper sticker said, "I bought this before Musk went crazy." We had a nice talk. Turns out he has had bone spurs his entire life, but went to Vietnam, unlike Trump. I love when people over 70 years old aren't fox addicts. I saw a guy who had a veteran's license plate and 2 giant bumper stickers that read, "Vietnam Veteran," and "Proud Sucker and Loser." He also had a large, FDT, sticker as well. He's an idiot, elected by idiots, surrounded by an army of the worst human beings this country has ever placed in places of power. Hard to drain the swamp when you staff it with sewer monsters. There are 2 types of Americans. Crazy people and those of us who will be deeply relieved when he dies. He isn't the only problem. The fascists have control now and they won't give it up because a sickly pedophile dies. As soon as he croaks, they'll use him as a scapegoat while going with Phase 2 of Project 2025 with the _Thiel Vance presidency. Full techno-fascism because they're too far gone. They're all facing treason, they won't back down. I was talking to a buddy of mine at work about this. One of the only things I remember about American government in school was checks and balances. No one branch of government could have absolute power. Regardless of how you feel on policy, or the man himself, the president currently passes executive orders seemingly on a whim, and the separation of powers seems to barely slow him down past people who should be using those powers saying, well, he shouldn't really be doing that, followed by nothing really coming of it. If the separation of powers isn't real, I don't actually know how our government works if I'm honest. It doesn't work. That's the problem. When a convict becomes president, this used to be impossible. You know that nothing is working like it should. I'm sick of waking up every day and finding out he woke up, too. One day he won't, my friend. I'm waiting too long. The government is going to absolutely fucking collapse into the most epic shit show, like it isn't already, but this will be way worse, when he dies, because they all won't have to gargle his balls anymore and they'll all want to be the ones getting their balls gargled and they will straight up tear each other to shreds. Most of his cronies don't even like each other. None of them are, or even have, friends in the way you or I think about them. To them, friends is just people who think similarly to me and either are currently useful or will be useful. So, it's going to be interesting to see what smaller coalitions will start to form, made up of people who don't actively want each other dead. He needs to be removed from power, and his supporters need to spend the rest of their lives shunned and hated by their communities. Hillary wasn't right about a lot of things, but she was right about the deplorables. I remember conservatives wearing shirts that read, "deplorable," like they were so proud of it. I wonder if we can get them to proudly wear shirts that say, "pedophile," next. Hillary wasn't right about a lot of things. And here is the issue. We still, for some reason, find the need to negatively critique Hillary Clinton, who would not have led us down this path. She absolutely was right about a lot of things. Bunch of dumb fucking traitors. I'll never hire a MAGA moron. Give it 10 years and they'll ironically implement policies forcing you to hire MAGA Nazis. When he dies they better launch his body out to sea like Osama bin Laden, because I will travel to the ends of the earth to piss on his grave. That's how I feel. Edit. I'm going to take this opportunity to call out that the Reddit app doesn't allow you to filter posts by keyword. That fucking sucks and is anti-user. I'd stop using this app altogether if I wasn't woefully addicted. Trump should be filtered from this app and this mortal coil, post haste. I await the day the headline reads, grave move due to unstoppable urine. Seems like about a third of us, myself included, hate his guts and want to get out of this fascistic regime, while another third cheers him on, and the other third are like, hey, I'm not really into politics. I absolutely hate what we've become and see no way out. The way out involves getting organized in real life with our neighbors and friends, and, redacted, enough fascists that the rest of them go back into hiding. If it's die on your feet or live on your knees, that's an easy enough choice for me. Sic semper tyrannis. He doesn't understand the system of checks and balances our system has to prevent exactly that from happening. Our country was started because people were pretty tired of kings acting like they can do whatever they want. He doesn't even seem to understand what America is all about, and really has no business being president over just that fact alone. What we learned from Trump's first term is that as long as you have 34 senators in your pocket, you can do whatever the hell you want. And now half the House who will go along with it because they are afraid to make him mad. And 5 SC judges is what, just gravy. He now controls SCOTUS due to the sycophant justices he appointed. The GOP controls Congress. There are no longer any checks to his power. It's frightening. The framers of the Constitution didn't anticipate this scenario. The tree of liberty must be refreshed from time to time with the blood of patriots and tyrants. It is its natural manure. Or maybe they did. Technically they did, it's the Second Amendment. The big problem with it is that they couldn't foresee the existence of a gun like an AK-47 and the fact that it would be a toy compared to the kind of military hardware we've had for the last 3 or 4 decades alone. They knew what a musket was and not much more than that. The power scaling over the last 200 years is essentially immeasurable unless you're some kind of a genius. He's not leaving office. He's dispatching the National Guard and military on our citizens, eliminating funding for public news, firing people who don't lie about the state of the economy. He's a Putin puppet. Putin definitely has something on him, removing Medicaid for 11 million people, adding trillion to the debt while granting tax break to himself and his billionaire friends. He destroying democracy. I've been saying before the last election that he will surely be elected again, and everybody called me dumb, and yet here we are. Now I've been saying that was the last election we'll have, that there won't be another election, and everybody is calling me dumb. I guess we'll find out soon enough, _Sue_. And this is the problem, because that's his goal. People don't understand that all of our rules, law, and order are just based on collective agreement, and if no one is defending it we can say bye-bye. The way people keep downplaying him is astounding. He's establishing a dictatorship and it's been so obvious since the beginning. All I can say is if, readers, when Trump wants a third term, he will do everything in his power to get one, and I honestly won't be very surprised at this point. Unsettled. Approximately 3,200 people died actively fighting to get away from a tyrant king, and approximately 1.3 million people have died protecting the document that solidified it. But it's not just in the way he is speaking but more so in how it's not being covered more, and there's not enough outrage. I always assumed there would be protests in the streets to deal with a tyrant. I've been waiting for a Samuel Adams, son of liberty, to emerge, but maybe I need to stop waiting and start getting active. All roads lead to Washington. We have to set aside our lives, incomes, pets and comforts to address this. I know that sucks everyone, I really do. I would rather just chill and game or something. But it's the best of the terrible options remaining. We won't have the power to stop it after a few years when all political opponents and rising public figures are dealt with before they can act as they are in Russia. I'm like you and thought that surely with all the Ivy League schools and people in this country much more well positioned than I, surely someone from there will rise up to this occasion. After all, where are all the classmates I went to school with who earned honors, straighters, knew the answers, could public speak and easily influence our peers? I don't know, but we're out of time. I'm not from the US, but if Biden said that y'all would riot. Biden won an election and the mouth-breathing bootlickers attempted to overthrow the government. And a violent horde of them laid siege to the Capitol building and assaulted police officers and legislators. It's been so dismissed in MAGA world that it's like people live in different universes. I watched that entire thing live. Other than 9/11, I've never seen something so horrific on US soil in my lifetime. People still quoting constitutional law like any of that is going to save us. The Supreme Court is MAGA and doesn't give a shit, people. Quit counting on someone to do the right thing and start preparing for what comes next. Yep, it's too late. He has won. Like it or not, he has successfully navigated around the checks and balances that were supposed to prevent something like this from happening. You can protest or hope that this all goes away when he dies, but right now the country is on a speed run towards a Christian, isolationist, nationalistic, authoritarian government with nothing standing in its way. I said in another post, in all seriousness, who will stop any of this? When voting won't work, and protesting won't work, there is one big option that might work. The thing is though, it's very messy and no one wants to be the first person up the hill and into the fray. And they are banking on that fact. People that have a spouse, kids, home, elderly parents, investments, long-term friends, are over 30. Those people absolutely do not want to get out in the streets and possibly even go to jail, let alone die. Maybe younger people, but you're looking at a narrow band of 18 to 29-year-olds, and a good 40% of those people are super cool with what is going down. This country will literally roll over on its belly before people will do what it really takes. This isn't the 1770s. We're all way too comfy, fat, and placated.